dividends, and every investment in this regard will yield multi-sectoral results. Family planning is a critical element of healthcare for women and girls, and we must continue to work to ensure that all people who are in this target group have the care, services, and the supplies that they need. So, therefore, while we are tackling the pandemic, we must also ensure that essential supplies are available and all family planning commodities have equitable access to the target group. Healthcare providers should also strive to ensure continuity of reproductive healthcare to beneficiaries in face of this facility service interruption which has been caused by the pandemic. We all recognize that at the end of the day, it is the healthcare workforce which is the backbone of all our responses, whether it is response to the pandemic or whether it is response to reproductive child health and maternal health and associated issues. Therefore, we have also announced a dedicated health insurance package for our healthcare providers. We must ensure that our public health delivery system should keep on playing a key role in putting an end to all preventable child and maternal deaths, and the union government as well as the state governments are committed to strengthen the processes and ensure quality care and provide access to every woman and child, especially in these unprecedented times of this public health crisis caused by the pandemic. I once again thank you for joining all of us in this on this occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your encouraging words. Now I am requesting Secretary Health and Family Welfare Madam for her insightful views. Please.
Honorable HFM, Honorable MOS, my colleague Rajesh, Vandana, Manohar, Vikas, our partners, media, and ladies and gentlemen. Well, every year on 11th July, we meet with lot of pomp and grandeur, where our states also come and we all get together and ponder over the goals of the year in respect to how to control, how to balance our population. However, this year, as Rajesh very rightly put it, is very different. And we have found ways and means of engaging ourselves on all important issues that concern the health ministry. And I welcome you to this virtual meeting. And when we think of population in the context of India, I think it's not just about our numbers. It's not just about contraception and about educating people on the right family size, but it's also about our diversity, about the composition of this population, about the gender balance, about healthy and well-nourished children, well-endowed youth in terms of health, education and skills, and also about well-taken care of elderly. So I think it is in that context that we meet today, and all these elements are heightened and very important now when we all are grappling with the huge challenge of COVID. We have been able to take care of our children and the elderly in the midst of this pandemic, but I must say that we have to revisit and revitalize our non-COVID health services. We have to ensure that all the population control methods that are there reach our women, reach our men, and we do ensure that population control counseling is done as it was being done earlier. So I think today is a day, sir, that we should rededicate ourselves to essential non-COVID health services, along with our resolve to meet the challenge of COVID as a country together, sir, with all our citizens and with full citizen engagement. And I'd like to also say that my grateful thanks to each one of our health fraternity who are working very hard to actually meet these twin objectives, which are actually very difficult to reconcile, but yet we are able to work towards it. Thank you.
And thank you, ma'am, for highlighting the importance of World Population Day and the program, and for your enthusiastic support. Now, may I request Shri Ashwini Kumar Chaudhary, the Honorable Minister of State, Health and Family Welfare, for his address. Mani Mantri ji.
आज विश्व जनसंख्या दिवस पर आप समस्त लोगों को बधाई है। जैसा कि हमारे आज के इस कार्यक्रम की अध्यक्षता कर रहे हम सब लोगों के ये लोकप्रिय नेता स्वास्थ्य मंत्री माननीय डॉक्टर हर्षवर्धन जी, विभाग की सचिव श्रीमती नीतीश कुमार जी, श्री राजेश भूषण जी, श्रीमती वंदना गुरनानी जी, हमारे डॉक्टर गंगवार जी, मनोहर जी और विकास जी, सभी यहाँ उपस्थित पदाधिकारीगण और हमारे पत्रकार मित्रों, जहाँ तक
आते पहले इनके मास्क लगवाएंगे।
मैं देख रहा हूँ जैसा कि स्क्रीन पे आप लोगों ने मास्क नहीं लगा रखा है।
बिल्कुल बड़े हुए दिख रहे हैं जिन्होंने
शादी ब्याह में
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is my proud privilege to extend a very warm welcome to our chief guest, the Honorable Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare, Scientific Technology and Earth Sciences, Medical India, and Chairman, WHO Executive Board, Dr. Harshvardhan. I also extend an invitation to Jacob Sarah, to the media press, something with unlimited thank you. I also extend an invitation to our guest of honor, District Governor, RI District 3011, Rotarian Sanjeev Mehra and Ms. Rita Mehra, District Governor-elect Rotarian Anup Mittal and Rotarian Shruti Mittal, District Governor nominee, Rotarian Ashok Kantur and Alka Kantur, immediate past District Governor, Rotarian Suresh Bhasin and Mr. Ritu Bhasin, all District Governors, all past District Governors, members of the District Core team, Assistant Governor, Batchmate Presidents, Rotarians, Rotarians, I now invite President 2019-2020 Rotarian Kuljeet Singh Khopri to call the meeting to order.
Please rise for national anthem.
It is now time for the customary lighting of the lamp that leads us from darkness unto light. To do the honors, our President 2019-2020, Rotarian Kuljeet Khopri, President 2020-21, Dr. Ganesh Mani, past President, Rotarian Dr. Manju Mani. The invocation song, sung by our Nightingale Rotarian Dr. Lavita Krishnan, will be played soon after.
Present, let's light the lamp.
After a fruitful education song, I will now request Rotarian Kuljit Singh Kokli to give us a brief overview of the year gone by. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting President 2019-2020 to give a quick overview of the year. Kuljit, you have to unmute yourself. Kuljit? Kojiti, you have to unmute yourself, please.
He's unmuted only,
Yes, okay.
but we cannot hear him.
Uh, in the meanwhile, could I request President Dr. Ganeshman to please announce a 1-minute silence for PDG Harish Malhotra ji? Could I request President Ganeshman please, if he is listening to me, if you could announce the 1-minute silence?
Very sad that we lost a very senior member of the Rotary Club of Delhi Central, Mr. Harish Malhotra, on the 21st of June. And we have a 1-minute silence before we start the presidential address. Can we have 1-minute silence, please? Thank you. Thank you. I think I can spot Kuljit. He's there. Are you ready, Kuljit?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, so I am connected on iPad. Thank you.
Could you come closer to mic, please? Could you come closer to mic?
Thank you. Sorry for this. Honorable Minister for Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Vardhan, District Governor Rotarian Sanjeev Mehra ji, immediate past District Governor Suresh Vasim ji, District Governor elect Rotarian Anup Mittal ji, District Governor nominee Rotarian Ashok Kantu, distinguished PDGs and Rotarians from the district, PDG Ranjan Dhingra ji, PDG Dr. N. Subramanian, President Padam Shri Dr. Ganesh Mani, Honorary Secretary Padmani ji, fellow Rotarians, a very warm welcome to installation ceremony of President Dr. Ganesh Mani for Rotary year 2021. It was an honor and a pleasure seeing the club, serving the club during the year 1920. There was nothing unusual about the year when the year started with our training for presidents at Kathmandu, which was an inter-district training for the first time in our district. In one of the sessions, someone said, remember you are president in the leap year and you will get 1 day extra. Think about what will you do in that extra day. And the idea they wanted to imbibe was that each day that you work as president, consider that as an extra special day and you will always live to remember what you did as president. And I am happy that our incoming president is already treating each day as a very special day. Incidentally, the last activity that our club did before COVID affected us was on that extra day, that is on 29th February, Holy Milan, and that was 8 months down the year. However, we achieved almost all our club targets for the year during the first 8 months. Just to reiterate that, we did 5 health camps and awareness camps, 2 blood donation camps, chartered a new Rotary Club with 100 young Rotaractors, involved Rotaractors and Interactors in our club services, carried a tree plantation on Environment Day, conducted 7 fellowship meets. An international trip to Phuket was organized from 14 to 19 January, had 9 speaker meets, 2 vocational projects at Ekta Vihar and Singer Center, 1246 screenings of children in 3 camps held for 3 days each under Gift of Life outreach program was carried out, signed an MOU with Max Hospital and provided
cardiogram machine, eco machine to them for carrying out 60 free eco checkups every month. Of course, at Rotary Divyang, as usual, we continue with helping Divyangs with free supply of mobility aids like tricycles and wheelchairs. Free physiotherapies at Rotary Divyang will continue. Artificial limbs was upgraded around RDPA by making it stronger and lighter with collaboration with IIT Delhi and Delhi Pharmaceutical Research Institute. After COVID, that is from 1st of March, we cancelled our fellowship meetings as early as 8th of March and felt that now no activity during the year shall be possible after Honorable Prime Minister announced lockdown on 25th March. But there is a saying that when going gets tough, the tough get going. And that is when resilience of our Rotary as an institution came to light. Our Rotarians did a commendable job of 3 months of April, May and June during the lockdown. Our club and its members distributed sanitizers, masks, disinfectants, PPE kits. We distributed dry ration to more than 500 people. One of our Rotarians distributed cooked food for the migrants every day for 3 weeks. There was an all-round. That was not all. Our club and district adopted to online meetings and fellowships, and we as Rotarians wrote in our best motivational speakers to keep the morale of Rotarians high, wrote in the best doctors on how to cope with COVID, live and fight COVID. When the call for contribution to PM Cares Fund was made by Rotary, our club members voluntarily contributed more than 40 lakhs of PM Care Fund within a week of the call being made. We also managed to do a lot of fellowship meets, and the year ended with icing on the cake when 2 of our global grants projects were authorized by DG Suresh Vassi for 51 Garian structure check dams. Incidentally, that should be the highest for the district for the year 1920, or for that matter, any year so far. COVID machine and test kit for Holy Family Hospital was also approved. Both the grants amount to $1 lakh. Theme for the year 1920 was Rotary Connects the World, and what better way to connect the 2 years through 2 projects approved last year, on last day of the last year, which shall be implemented when Dr. Ganesh Mani is the president and Sanjeev Mehra is the chief. Last but not the least, the third COVID grant project was also put up for approval for Venkateswara Hospital, and that is to be considered and authorized by DG Sanjeev Mehra for Venkateswara Hospital, and I would like Dr. Ganesh Mani to take it up with him. This is where the year went by really very fast, and I must thank one last time all the directors, committee chairs, IPDGs and district officials, all my Rotary family for the support throughout the year. And I am very happy to pass on the baton to Madam Shri Dr. Ganesh Mani and pledge our wholehearted support and wish him the very best during the year. Thank you, and 3 cheers for the year 2021, President and his team for 2021. And the calendar, the Secretary's report we are bypassing. I would request our Secretary Anjali to post it on official website because of paucity of time. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wonderful. Putting that on And now for the moment that is always so fortunate in the world of those things. The transfer of order from the President 2019-2020 to the President 2020-2021 Rotarian Dr. Ganesh Mani. The transfer symbolizes continuity in the transition and the commitment to serving humanity relentlessly. It gives me a great pleasure to invite our President, Rotarian Dr. Ganesh Mani, now for his address.
Sorry, one minute.
Dr. Ganesh Mani did his MBBS.
आपकी रजिस्टर में मीटिंग है राम आश्रम हमारे के
Shruti, you'll have to mute yourself. Thank you. Dr. Ganesh Mani did his MBBS in 1969 from Maulana Azad Medical College, MS in 1975 from Maulana Azad Medical College, MPH in 1979 from CMC Vellore, MNA-MS 1980 through the National Board, trained in Australia from 1983 to 1985, trained in Every Max Smart Super Speciality Hospital, member of Rotary Club of Delhi Central since 2008. He major donor level 2 and he is intending to be major donor level 3 very soon this year. Formerly, Christian Medical College, Vellore, Railway Hospital, Chennai, Batra Hospital, New Delhi, Apollo Hospital, New Delhi, DHLI Hospital, New Delhi. And the awards and achievements, of course, are in this, but we read a few. National Citizen Award 1992, National Excellence Award 1996, Padma Shri 2013. And his family, of course, I mean, this is, I think, the first double president family in our in the history of RCBC. Because Rotary and already. Their older son, Dr. Mani, is brought to New York City, and Mani is an IT consultant in Delhi. So let's hear it from the president himself now. He's going to tell us about his plans for 2020-2021.
Dr. Harshvardhan ji. Respected Dr. Harshvardhan ji, Union Health Minister, District Governor, Rotarian Sanjeev Rai Mehra, distinguished past District Governor, Governors, my RCDC family, brothers and sisters. My immediate past president has performed so well in 2019-20 that I am relegated to say, कुलजीत को पकड़ना मुश्किल ही नहीं, नामुमकिन है. However, after much personal trepidation, I was indeed overpowered by my senior Rotarians of Delhi Central, and I stand before you wearing the collar. My commitments to patients who need heart surgery may be effectively handled while I perform my duties as a Rotary Club president. At the outset, I am grateful to my wife of 47 years, past president Dr. Manju Mani, who has promised to be my friend, philosopher and guide and support me in fulfilling the expectations of the members of this august club of RCDC. Yata hi ekena chakrena naratasya gatir bhave evam purushakarena vina devam na siddhyati, meaning that no chariot can run well with one wheel, and we need to have several wheels in the chariot for it to move swiftly towards its destination. Let me introduce the wheels of my chariot to you. Mr. Vineet Sood, a leader in himself, has gracefully accepted to help me as Vice President and will stand for me when I am busy doing heart surgeries at Max. To augment, Miss Padmini Parameshwaran, the live wire of our club, whose bubbling enthusiasm indeed will uphold the vibrancy of RCDC. To augment Padmini's enthusiasm is Joint Secretary Mohit Luthra, who comes with experience as past president of a Rotary E-Club and is a popular compared in the district. Not a paisa more, not a paisa less is what cost accountant O.P. Manchanda is all about, a great businessman and exporter. He will be safeguarding our treasures. He has already reduced the members' contribution to the club by 50% in the COVID era of physical distancing. The president of PhD Chamber, Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, is the president-elect of RCDC and will be completing my unfinished work next July onwards. I do feel comforted to have a bosom pal as a trainer, PDG N. Subramaniam, who knows the Rotary ropes and has kindly agreed to guide me like Partha Sarati Krishna through this tough year of doing community services in a world of physical distancing. Almost all matters in my year will be mentored by past President Rakesh Jain and PDG Ranjan Dhingra. I could speak about my directors for the rest of the evening, but due to paucity of time, I will just name them. Club Services, Vinay Singhal; Vocational Services, Sushil Malhotra; Community Services, Rakesh Malhotra; International Services, Hari Subramaniam; Youth Services, Pankaj Malik; Gift of Life Outreach, Raghunath. I also have a galaxy of stars to chair my various committees. Membership, Guru Krishna Kumar; Public Image, Lalita Subramaniam; Rotary Foundation, Ravi Bhatia; Literacy, Teach, Dr. Harvinder Pokri, editor of Fountain also; Wash in Schools, Vivek Madan; Vibrant Club, Atul Gupta; and Mukta Raghunath has gracefully agreed to be the Sergeant at Arms. We are also planning a new vertical of environment with the permission of the DG, and we'll let you know. We have an incumbent member, Dr. Suvarsha Khanna, who's willing to accept this chair in the second innings at RCDC. All of you are well aware of our permanent flagship, the Rotary Divyang Kendra, which is being led by Chairman Ravi Bhatia, who looks after our DK activities. We have been providing limb substitutes, which have been updated from time to time by R&D brought in by Dr. Manjumani and Dr. Harvinder Pokri. And of course, we are thankful to the corpus created by the past presidents and also augmented by enormous collections by Dr. N. Subramanian and Sunil Jain. RCDC has been active all along with many ongoing projects. Gift of Life free heart surgeries for children born with congenital heart disease was the first pet project of PRID Sushil Gupta, and he had encouraged me to do about 100 free heart surgeries in 3 hospitals that I worked in, namely DHLI, Pushpanjali and Max Smart. Due to paucity of funds, we had applied for a second global grant for GOL extension, but this could not materialize. Gift of Life Outreach, Dr. Manjumani's pet project, was going very well until the hiccups. It was very well despite the hiccups caused by PNDT regulations, preventing us from keeping the echo machine inside the van. So we had to donate it to Max Smart, where free echoes are done for these children. Rotarian Raghunath and Rotarian Mukta and other Rotarians have conducted 3 major school camps at 3 schools, examined 800 children, and shortlisted about 25 who underwent echocardiography at Max Smart. Dr. Manjumani had committed to Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia that we would be examining 5,000 children in Delhi, but because of the corona pandemic and physical distancing, the outreach program has been temporarily paused till school reopens. Next. The Rotary Waterman, PDG Ranjan Dhingra, of our club has inspired past President Vineet Bhagat to help me involve other clubs to construct 51 check dams. IPDG Suresh Basin has signed for a global grant. We plan to involve 4 to 5 clubs to achieve this. The WASH, Water Hygiene and Sanitation Project, has taken a hit because of restrictions on school, but we would only be emphasizing the practice of hand washing all the more in the COVID era. We plan to take this up aggressively and ensure mandatory and frequent hand washing in schools by refurbishing previously installed washing stations and also installing new ones. We would also be participating in providing rainwater harvesting in schools. We have already installed rainwater harvesting at DTA School Lodi Estate and will soon be doing so in other DTA schools. Dr. Harshvardhan is known as the world champion of polio. Since he is presiding over this function, we hereby promise to continue our efforts by conducting the periodic polio camps, do boom. He has also inspired me to additionally take up reparative surgeries for the ravages of polio. As you can see, polio causes a lot of deformities and make people unemployable. So by doing these reparative surgeries, we would make them employable and make them Atmanirbhar. For the COVID era, we could use our earlier donation to TRF for a COVID grant for supplying a PCR testing machine called Rotogene Q to a charitable hospital called Puri Family Hospital in Okla. If DG Sanjeev Mehra permits, we may plan to arrange another PCR machine for Venkateshwara Hospital in Dwarka with another Rotary Club in Nepal. These machines are but drops in the ocean of efforts done by Dr. Harshvardhan, who is indeed taking the COVID bull by the horns. Perhaps an analogy from Ramayana would be the efforts of tiny squirrels of RCDC in cementing the boulders of Ram Setu being built by the Government of India. Dr. Harshvardhan did respond to my request and kindly permitted starting convalescent plasma transfusion in COVID patients in Max Hospital, now being done as a research project, but soon will be approved later on by the drug controller. In keeping with beloved PM's call for Atmanirbhar Bharat, we will also continue to foster our existing vocational projects at Singer Training Center, Okla. Industrial effluents with multiple carcinogens have been flowing into Delhi's Yamuna River, from the banks of which come lots of vegetables consumed by unknowing citizens. This has vexed both Dr. Suvarsha Khanna and Shashi Agrawal and me. Cleaning Yamuna or Namami Yamune will have to be taken up by the governments of India, Government of Delhi, Government of Haryana and UP by constructing many sewage treatment plants. But we could do our bit by encouraging tree plantations on the Yamuna bank and educate people not to do vegetable farming there, because you are selling not vegetables but you are selling cancer. We plan to apply for a new global grant under this new vertical. As part of our membership drive, we have inducted 3 new members today, namely the eminent Dr. Suvarsha Khanna, a renowned doctor in cancer management, Colonel Balasubramanian, a retired colonel from the Indian Army who practices law in Supreme Court, Mr. Sushil Agrawal, a famous architect involved in building many structures in NCT Delhi. It is indeed my good fortune that the second busiest person in the country, Dr. Harshvardhan, has kindly presided over this function of my installation as President of Rotary Club Delhi Central. Let me assure you, sir, that with District Governor Sanjeev Rai Mehra at the helm of affairs and the RCDC team, I have to revise my earlier statement. कुलजीत को पकड़ना मुश्किल जरूर है, मगर नामुमकिन नहीं है. In keeping with the service above self theme of Rotary, let me conclude. Rotraya idanna mama rashtram pujayami. Thank you.
For 2020-2021. And now, it is my privilege to invite our chief guest, Honorable Union Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, for his address, blessing and his advice. Before we begin, I request PDG Rajan Dhingra to introduce the Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Secretary Padmini. Indeed, a great honor and privilege for me to introduce someone who does not need an introduction, as he personifies Rotary's values and principles, and moreover, it is like Suraj ko diya dikhana. Yes, he is none other than our very own, Hamare Adarsh, Dr. Harshvardhan ji, Honorable Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare, Union Minister for Science and Technology, and also the chairman of 34 members WHO Executive Board, and a very distinguished ENT surgeon, whom I always very fondly address as Dr. Saab. My relations with Dr. Saab goes back to the year when I was the president of this very club, Rotary Club of Delhi Central, yes, in 1994-95. This year was the launching and successful implementation of the brainchild of Dr. Saab, then the Health Minister of Delhi, Pulse Puri program in Delhi. Brings 1.2 million children. It was a treat to be part of this mass movement on that day, under the guidance, direction, and leadership of Dr. Saab, right from 5 a.m. in the morning, starting from his residents to the booths spread all over Delhi. The second one was on 9th of December the same year. This paved the way to extend the program under MIT to cover entire country. Of course, today our motherland is polio free. So others, except for two countries. This book, A Tale of Two Drops, Kahani Do Boond Ki, is an eye-opener giving account of how they conceived and the Pulse Polio program. Determination to see the children and serve the humanity. Friends, the younger generation Rotary may not be knowing that Dr. Sahib is the first Indian to receive the Rotary International's highest award, Polio Eradication Champion Award, through the hands of Prime Minister Vajpayee in 2001, which was earlier conferred to former British Prime Minister Major, former American President Clinton, and other distinguished luminaries. In the present esteemed times of COVID-19, Dr. Sahib is again on the forefront, and 32 in a country of 1.35 billion, that's our country. People, here only 0.1 billion cases. His friends. This could all be possible, but proactive, preemptive way with unmatched scale and determination of our own doctors under the guidance of our Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji. No doubt, India will once again emerge victorious against the pandemic very soon, as we all are in the very safe hands of Dr. His track record as a Union Minister from 2014 onwards has been stellar. A number of prestigious social and international organizations have honored him with several awards. Last but not the least, Dr. Sahib has always come forward to support Rotary in all his endeavors, including his address at Rotary India's Engineer Summit in Kolkata and his very address to not only Indian Rotarians but world over on COVID very recently. In spite of his very, very busy schedule, friends, his achievements are too numerous to enumerate here, and I will keep on narrating such achievements of ours together into. मैं अपनी वाणी को विश्राम देता हूँ और अपने आदरणीय डॉक्टर साहब को, राष्ट्रपति जी को संबोधित करने हेतु सविनम्र आमंत्रित करता हूँ। डॉक्टर
Please mute yourself and welcome, please, for the address. Everyone please shut.
Good evening, everybody. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can hear me.
Very clearly, Doctor. Very clearly. Yes, we can. Sir, we can hear you, sir. We can hear you. We can hear you, sir.
Thank you. Rotarian Sanjeev Rai Mehra ji, District Governor of the Rotary International District 3011. Kuljit Popli ji, the outgoing president of the Delhi Center, Dr. Ganesh Mani ji, Dr. Manju Mani ji, our dear Ranjan Dhingra ji, all Rotarians are dear, Anup Mittal ji, Sanjay Agrawal ji, Dr. N. Subramaniam ji, Dr. Lalita Subramaniam ji, Vineet Sood ji, Padmani Parmeswaran ji, Mohit Luthra ji, and also I could hear that we have the presence of the District Governor-elect Anup Mittal ji, Ashok Kantur ji, the District Governor nominee, and also the past District Governor, immediate past District Governor Suresh Bhatia ji, and also Vinod Gupta, and I know there must be very distinguished other Rotarians present in this very august gathering. I am so happy to be present here this evening with all of you, and especially at the installation ceremony of my dear friend and professional colleague, of course senior to me in the profession by almost a decade, Dr. Ganesh Maniji, one of the leading cardiothoracic surgeons of the country, who has been bestowed with Padam Shri by our past President of India, Shri Pranab Mukherjee ji, also for doing an exemplary job and for the recognition of his 20,000 cardiac surgeries that he did for India, and after having pioneered the beating heart surgeries. Dear Rotarian friends, I may tell you that my association with Dr. Ganesh Mani is 3 years older than my association with Rotary International. Some 30 years back, I was searching for the best cardiothoracic surgeon in the capital to get my father operated for a cardiac bypass surgery, and my search for a good cardiothoracic surgeon. There were many cardiothoracic surgeons, but I was looking for one who was also a compassionate, good human being, also very well behaved, very down to earth, and also very committed. I zeroed into Dr. Ganesh Mani and got my father operated from him in the year 1990 at Batra Hospital, New Delhi. So that was my first introduction with him, and since then I have seen him working relentlessly, selflessly, sincerely, committedly, following all the ethics of the profession, and has helped, as I said, thousands of people get rid of their cardiac diseases. 20,000 surgeries is not a small number, and almost 100 free surgeries for poor children. That is also, I think, very, very significant under the Gift of Life mission of Rotary. I know he has operated upon many, many senior VIPs during the course of the last many years. I have also referred many VIPs to him, and everybody comes back thanking me more than Dr. Ganesh Mani that you have referred us to the nicest doctor, to the most capable surgeon. And that is what Dr. Ganesh Mani for me is. I fondly remember he operated upon our most respected leader Rajmata Vijayaraje Scindia ji, the metro man of India, and of course the person who will always be considered as one of the greatest assets for Delhi in particular. We will never forget him, Mr. E. Sridharan, and many other people. We have seen him operating all these people, and he operates even the poorest of the poor with the same dedication and same commitment, and looks after them quite well even after their surgeries. So for him, a VIP or a poor man, everybody is a patient, and he is committed to the service of the patient, in the most dedicated manner. As I said that my association with the Rotary dates back to 1994, and people like Ranjan Dhingra and many others in the Rotary are my dear friends since then. I fondly remember people like the late O.P. Vash ji, the late Sudarshan Agarwal ji, who were instrumental in my initial association with Rotary when I was the Health Minister of Delhi, when I had conceived the Pulse Polio program, and when I was working for its success and trying to mobilize everybody in Delhi around it. I got to meet accidentally Mr. Sudarshan Agarwal one day, and that is how my association with Rotary started. As far as I can understand, all of you, even this club was also part of the Rotary District 3010 at that time, which used to extend up to Faridabad, and the then District Governor Rotarian Mr. Bidani used to belong to Faridabad. Because this club is not unfamiliar to me, I think that this district, probably 3011, might have been carved out of that figure 3010. And many of the faces that I see or many of the names that I hear in this particular club, I am familiar with many of them in the past also. So it's always a very great moment for me whenever I am with Rotarians around. The association that started in 1994 with wholehearted commitment and support from Rotarians day in and day out. It may not be the right moment because if I talk about 1994 and my association with Rotarians, this will be a long story which can go on for hours and hours. But that is certainly one of the most precious treasures that I possess. And I know that Rotary's contribution to the polio eradication movement of India, and more particularly to the difficult time in 1994 when we had first planned about it, dreamt about it, and when we were plagued by plague at that time, just before our 2nd of October 1994. But for the great contribution of Rotarians, I still remember that I never expected, but all the Rotarians early in the morning ensured that from the 41 regional vaccine stores, they will get up early in the morning, or maybe you can say late in the midnight, get into their cars, go to the regional vaccine store, pick up the vaccine carriers with the polio vaccine at minus 20 degrees centigrade and deliver it before 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at the 4,000 polio kendras that we had created all over the city. I always tell this, that I always considered earlier to that Rotarians as people who are well-to-do people with lavish style of living who enjoy their evenings in the hotels, have their functions in 5 stars, like that. And I was not really sure when Rotary had taken this responsibility of transporting those vaccine carriers to 4,000 places. And at that time, it was through 400 Rotary vehicles. But to make sure that there is no lacunae in the whole program which might erupt because of the fact that some Rotarians might keep sleeping, I had alternatively arranged for 400 vehicles in the government system also. But to my utmost happiness and satisfaction, and of course surprise at that stage, because now I can't say that because I know Rotary far more than what I knew 25 years back, 27 years back. There was not a single instance in Delhi where the Rotarians failed us. And that is, I think, the great strength that you all possess. And I remember having witnessed your 100 years celebration in Kolkata under the leadership of the present International President Sushil ji, where a few thousand Rotarians had collected. That was, I think, a couple of months back, maybe last year towards the end, when India's Rotary movement completed 100 years. So it has been a long association with Rotary. I know the contribution that you have made to the polio eradication movement of the whole world. It's not only supporting the movement physically, not only ensuring that the true drops of vaccine enter into the mouth of the millions of children, but also contributing liberally. It's almost $1 billion that have been contributed by Rotary as far as I know. And on behalf of my Prime Minister, I would love to express our gratitude to the Rotarians for supporting the fight against COVID with almost donations and other equipments, etc., worth 200 crores of rupees. I am familiar with many other movements that have been initiated by Rotary in the recent years, and I have been witness to the birth of those movements. I can always remember very fondly and with a lot of respect the contribution of Sudarshan Agrawal ji along with his colleague Rotarians when you all created the Rotary Blood Bank near the Patra Hospital. I was witness to its development, its dream, its creation, and then its smooth running. All your programs regarding water, sanitation, etc. I have been partner in some of the schools that have been helped in my own constituency also. And it's not only about these issues, there are many other issues on which almost everything that needs to be, whether it is literacy, whether it is blindness, whether it is cancer control, your enthusiasm doesn't wane. You all keep working. And just now Ganesh Maniji was also saying that he cannot match the capabilities of Mr. Popley. I know Mr. Popley has done a great job, and most of the tenure of Mr. Popley has been during the difficult times of COVID. Difficult times are still there, But I know the way people have responded, the way our doctors have responded, the way professionals like Dr. Ganesh Mani and all other health professionals and social organizations and well-meaning people like Rotarians have responded to this COVID menace. We have been able to do quite well as compared to the rest of the world. In a country of 1.35 billion people, we still on all the parameters are the lowest in the world. Out of the 8 lakh cases, 5 lakh patients have returned home. Rest of them are on road to recovery. We have the least mortality rate at 2.70 and we have the highest recovery rate at 62.8% or so. And our number of cases and number of deaths per million are the least in the whole world. It is all because of the extensive contribution of not only the efforts of the government, but the contribution and the support of well-meaning people in the society and well-meaning organizations. During these COVID times, I had the privilege to talk online like this with almost 92,000 organizations in the country at a time. All of them were dedicated to one particular cause. They ensured that every poor man got food without any bottlenecks or without any complications during the difficult times. Under the leadership of our Prime Minister, we have also taken care of the poorest of the poor people in the best possible way. You know all about the various economic schemes and packages that he launched, and also ensured that almost 80 crore of poor people, 80 crore 800 million out of the 1.35 billion were provided free food and ration during the whole COVID time, and they have been assured that for the next 6 months or so. But we received exemplary support from the society, as I mentioned, and of course from the Rotary also, for the PM Cares Fund, etc., etc. So it's a great moment for me, as I said, association with Rotary in any form, because all the memories that I have of my association with Rotary of the last 25-26 years are all very, very pleasant moments. Our dear friend Ranjan Dhingra mentioned about the Polio Eradication Champion Award. I always fondly remember that award, which was given to me by the Rotary Foundation, and I can never forget that Rotarians in Delhi contributed 2 times to get me the Paul Harris Fellowship also. So it's a great association, and as I said earlier, it's a great treasure for me. I can only promise all of you that we'll continue to work together. I can assure you on behalf of Mr. Dr. Ganesh Mani that he is an exemplary person who has extraordinary abilities, extraordinary compassion, sincerity, dedication, and he will certainly live up to your expectations. And I know that he has a potential to create a sort of records by his working, which may be difficult for future presidents to beat. This is what I pray for him, this is what I wish him. And once again I thank all of you for the invitation that you have extended to me, and more particularly Dr. Ganesh Mani, Ranjan Dhingra ji. I am really grateful that you gave me this opportunity of spending this quality time with all of you Rotarian friends, ladies, and all the, I don't know whether we have the young Rotaractors and interactors here or not, but all my good wishes and all my prayers to God for your good health. May you all keep yourself and your families and your friends protected from Corona. I am sure that these COVID times will be over very soon, and we shall be able to meet physically once again in a good Rotary meeting in the near future. Thank you so much. Namaskar. Once again, wishing you all the best. क्या हुआ? किस जगह पे है? जारी है।
Please accept this as a standing ovation. Thank you.
Back again. Any questions, everybody?
Honorable Minister, you refer service about health more than anybody else we know. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Delhi Central, and indeed on behalf of every Rotarian in this country and across the world, I wish to thank you not only for motivating us this evening, also for having motivated us for several decades in our fight against polio. You have motivated us, inspired us, and helped us to keep the country free of polio for over 9 years. You have been a great believer not only in partnerships with great organizations like the WHO, the CDC, coming together with all the segments of government of India, and made sure that the value of immunization, the value of reaching out to the people, the value of reaching out to every person in every corner of this country, ensured that we managed to become polio free before several other countries. You've been a doctor, you've been a scientist, you've been a leader. But more importantly, I think you've been a great visionary of preventive health care. Somebody who has had a focus on non-communicable diseases. Somebody who has advocated austere living. And probably one of the earliest to recognize the value of immunization. Vaccine preventable diseases, which I think was really some of the most important contributions the world has seen. In addition to your leadership and vision, you are very compassionate and you obviously remember your friends from the past so well. You spoke about the great, wonderful leader in Sudarshan Agrawal, and of course, Mr. M.L. Vidani, who has been a great leader in his times and served the Rotary very well. I personally have seen you directing all of us in our current fight against the COVID pandemic. I think your focus of bringing together the entire nation, both the communities and healthcare, both of the government and the private sector, working with a single focus of not only preventing transmission of the disease, but ensuring that the people receive the best of care. I think very little can be said beyond our salute to you as a tremendous visionary and a leader. Besides being so grateful to you for having accepted our humble invitation to address us and motivate us and make us realize how we as an organization of Rotarians have contributed in a small way to a wonderful work. A group of ordinary individuals who have come together to do extraordinary things under the leadership of men like you. Lastly, I also feel extremely grateful and very humbled by the fact, also proud of on a contradictory fashion, that I managed to introduce both the wonderful men, the outgoing President Kuldeep Oakley and the incoming wonder, Dr. Ganesh Mani. Honorable Minister, we will remain ever grateful to you, and Rotary will continue to serve the community to build a better world. Thank you for being with us this evening. Thank you, sir.
I think the minister has to leave next week, so we will now go on to the next part of the program. I would like to invite the Union Master District Governor,
Excellencies, distinguished colleagues, friends, thank you very much for indulging us in being a little bit delayed this morning. It's my very warm and pleasure to introduce